Well, it's another cold morning. I'm up well before 7 o'clock because I want to get ahead. I want to do my steps for the day, and that means walking up a mountain. But to get to the mountain, I'm a bit short of time. I decided to take the bus. So I'm going to be taking the number 11 bus almost all the way to the end, probably to the end actually, in the village of Stratonka. And then I'm going to go up a hill, mountain hill. Argument there, isn't there? Anyway, come and join me, because it should be nice in the snow. I'm Christopher Walker, and this is Closely Observed World. I can already feel myself getting a bit hot under the collar. I've only just started, but I can shed a few layers as I go along. I'll take off my hat first so that the world can see my glorious hairstyle at this early hour. I've got a thick scarf on that I probably won't need for much longer, and I'm wearing my Leicester City shirt and training top. Not that I ever really do any football training, but a man can dream. I had so much nervous excitement about this morning, last night, when I decided I was going to get up early to come for this walk, and I could hardly sleep. I kept waking up during the night, which was actually not such a bad thing, because Matilda wanted to get up. She often does in the night, and it takes her a few minutes to settle back down again. Susie sleeps straight through, that's always fine. So where was this nervous excitement coming from then exactly? Well, it reminded me a little bit of the night before setting off on a journey or on a holiday. And in these different circumstances of the last year or so, I think that's entirely understandable. I should think that there are a lot of people in the same position as me, especially people who like to go out and see the world. I think that I've escaped any of the ravages of this virus. I've been very, very, very fortunate. I should really thank my lucky stars for that. Also, I should thank my school, because most English teachers in Poland are self-employed. They don't count as teachers. But somehow, Kasia, the school manager, managed to get us all on the list of teachers. And since teachers were among the first to be vaccinated with the AstraZeneca jab, I got mine about 3-4 weeks ago now. I had the usual after effects, not side effects, after effects. So a mild temperature and a cracking headache. But I still managed to teach the rest of the day after the morning I was given the vaccination. And although I cancelled a couple of lessons early the next morning, I was just about able to pull myself through. Hard work, but could do it. So if anyone out there's worried about the AstraZeneca, don't be. Because now I can breathe an enormous sigh of relief. It's not 100% effective at stopping you getting coronavirus. That doesn't really matter. You know, it is 100% good against coronavirus that will kill you. And I had been worried about that a lot. The numbers in this area have gone up dramatically in this wave. So it is a relief. And now I just have to worry about everybody else. I'm the only person in my family here who has been lucky enough to have the vaccination. So yeah, nervous excitement. Partly because I had to get up early to come on this walk. My first lesson today is at 10:30. And after that I've got a bit of a break. I'm teaching through till 8:30 tonight. At 10:30, it's not long. And if I'd waited too long this morning, there wouldn't have been time to come up here. And I could just imagine having to host a Zoom session on my phone from the middle of the mountains, try to explain that to my student, or indeed to the school when they pop in to check everything's all right. There's only so much you can say about virtual backgrounds before you have to admit this one's a live background. But yeah, excitement. I haven't felt that excitement for quite some time, so it was worth getting up early for. You know, a night of uneven sleep in exchange for that thrill. I'm a bit out of shape, as you can tell, going up. It's not that steep yet. Wait till you see what's up ahead. I do a lot of things on Google Maps. I've kind of lost interest a little bit of late because they have this star system that you can progress through, but it's logarithmic. So I think I needed to get something like 10,000 points to get to the next level in their rankings. So that meant writing reviews of pretty much everywhere I'd ever been in my life. And I got there, only to see that the star for the next level requires you to get 50,000. So that's like 5 times as many places as I've ever been to. So I've lost interest a bit there, but still I rate things on Google Maps when I go to places, and at the end of every month and at the end of every year I get a review email from Google Maps. And my goodness, that gave me pause for thought recently. 2019 was a good year for me in terms of travel. As well as visiting a couple of places here in Poland, I also travelled over to Scotland, where I did a summer school. Need a break for a second. If you're ever in Scotland, Stirling is fantastic. I taught at the Stirling School of English, which is run by a very, very nice person called Ilona. She's married now, so it's Ilona Hunter, I think. Great school to work at. Magnificent students, mostly from refugee and immigrant backgrounds. So I had a bunch of people who'd come across from Syria via a couple of other places. There were some from Somalia. There are some from what should be called Kurdistan. And honestly, they were just such nice people. Really miss them. Had some students from Brazil. They were great. One or two from Poland. In fact, I was very happy to spend 4 weeks teaching there. And in the middle, we had a break of a week. So I went down to England to visit my mum. Saw Leicester again. So that was nice. And then after the summer, it was conference season. It's my first proper conference season as a teacher. I was speaking in 3 different venues. So when I was back in Poland, I went up to Gdansk on the north coast using Flixbus. It was a long night, but exciting. And after a few days there in the conference, took another Flixbus all the way to Bratislava. And that was something of a first for me, because the way that the route works, over the course of about 4 hours on leaving Katowice, we passed through, so we were in Poland, and we went into the Czech Republic to Brno, then from Brno down to Vienna in Austria, changed buses there, and then over to Bratislava. So that was 4 countries in 4 hours. Never done anything like that before. And after Bratislava, a week there, oh, what a city. Bratislava, such a city. Wow, I loved it. On to Budapest, a city that I've now visited 4 times, I think, if my memory serves, and it often doesn't. So you can imagine my excitement when I got my Google Maps email at the end of 2019 that showed all of these destinations. The map was zoomed out to show much of Europe. I was like, oh, that was a year well spent. At the end of 2020, I got my email from Google Maps. It showed Bielsko in the middle. The furthest north, Czechowice-Dziedzice. The furthest south, Żywiec. The furthest east, Międzybrodzie Żywieckie, I think it is, which is over that way, over those hills there. I walked there with my wife. And the furthest west, Skoczów. Every single one of those places was a place I had walked to. And that was it for the whole of 2020. So today feels cathartic. It's the first time in a long time that I really felt the excitement of an adventure. Thank you for joining me for it. I'm sorry for all the heavy breathing. As you can see, it's getting steep now. Let me show you this lovely place. I love this little red triangular hut just here. The roof is a perfect defence against heavy snowfall. It just comes all sliding off. Alright, I'll shut up for a bit and I'm going to take you around this area. interlude. I've said on numerous occasions to different people, so that's Angelo, my wife, Emil, Nick even, that I'm not that big a fan of mountains. I like to look at mountains from the bottom, but I don't like to walk up and down mountains. I think I'm starting to come around to it, especially when you have views like this. It's incredible. On that side, over there, you've got Klimchok, which I've been to a couple of times, but that's all. And over there in the far distance, you have Skrichna, which I can see on a clear day from the living room window. So when I'm teaching, I can actually see the little telecommunications tower at the top of it. Never yet been there, so I think that's going to have to be a subject for a video quite soon. Right, I think we're about halfway through the walk. I better hurry up a little bit. I don't want to be late for my lesson. It'd be nice to have a little bit of breakfast before I start teaching. So, back to it. Oh yes, and I wanted to say, if anyone out there is hoping to follow my footsteps here, if you want to do a proper walk, I'll stop here for a second and show you. Now you could go up that way, and that will add a little bit more to the length of this journey, and it can bring you down out where you might have seen in one of my earlier videos when I walked to St Barbara's church. There was a clearing, there was a little statue of Christ on the cross. That's where this route empties out to. Well, it's one of the places. I'm not doing that today. I'm going to take the shorter route here, which will follow, or kind of trace a path around the edge of this mountain. A couple of reasons. First, I really like the views that it offers. Second, I've only been that way once before. And third, it's quicker, and I am conscious of the time. So, just in case you are wondering which way I'm going and why, this is it. That's certainly not something you see every day, is it? Thought I was in the Scottish Highlands or somewhere for a moment. Wow. So, if you'd taken the other path, you'd have gone up to the top of that. Keep forgetting the name of that mountain. It's got some weird Polish letters in there, so it makes it hard for people like me to pronounce, especially on a cold day like today when my lips are all frozen. But I've reached the end of my walk for today, more or less. All that remains is to continue down to the bottom of this little path, try not to slip over where it's icy, and get home, get ready for my lessons, and spend the rest of the day teaching. I think it's going to be a good day of teaching, and I think it's going to be a good day because of this morning. Start the morning off the right way, start the day off the right way. Get some exercise like this. I can really understand why people get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go running, for example. I get it now, never used to. I always thought sleep would be the priority, but if you're excited about it, if you enjoy it, you ought to do it, really, at least every now and again. And I don't regret getting up early. I was up about an hour before anyone else in the household, but it doesn't really matter because I've had a fantastic morning. I'm going to have to do it again soon. Maybe pick a different mountain to climb, time permitting. Until next time, thank you. This is Christopher Walker with Closely Observed World. Bye bye.